everybody.
Hola.
Happy Friday.
Oh, Faith Friday.
It's here again.
It is.
Faith Fellowship Friday.
We're back.
I'm Sheri.
Yes, we're back.
Yeah.
Back again. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I just, Carey's going to let me kind of lead this thing today, so it's kind of cool, because I usually fly by the seat of my pants, and now she gets to try it, so it'll be exciting. But today's scripture that really spoke to me actually comes from Hosea. And if you know the story, Hosea is instructed by God to love an adulterous woman. Actually, she's a prostitute.
Actually, guys, we recommended a book in our summer reads when we did together. That was one of my books that I recommended, was Redeeming Love, and it's based on the book of Hosea. It's a fictional account. But anyways, we're back to scripture.
So good.
But but it's a good way to get into this book if you want to kind of dig a little. But go on.
This scripture is actually Hosea 3, and it says, "And the Lord said to me, go again, love a woman who is loved by another man and is an adulteress, even as the Lord loves the children of Israel, though they turn to other gods and love cakes of raisin." And, the NIV says, show your love again. And I think that's what God's calling us to do as Christians.
Right.
Show your love again. Sometimes we come against situations that aren't very lovely, or the people that we're dealing with are not very lovely, but God is always calling us to love again. And
that's very hard.
It is hard.
It's very hard.
And we, and I think what makes it really hard is we try to do it in our own ability.
Impossible.
And it's impossible, right?
It's impossible.
We can only do it through the promptings of the Holy Spirit and having the spirit of love in us. You can't give away what you don't have.
No.
And
the next scripture we're going to do is Exodus 2:23 and 24. During that long period, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out. Their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God.
Yeah.
God heard their groaning, and he remembered his covenant with Abraham and with Isaac and with Jacob. So God looked down on the Israelites and was concerned about them.
Yeah. And so who does he send? He sends Moses to rescue his people. So
and he had been rejected by his people early on.
Yeah, I mean, he had to flee and get out of there, and
they didn't want him.
No,
he was the prince,
right?
Yeah.
And so I just, for whatever reason, it was like, go show God's love, and let's start helping people get out of their Egypt. I'm just like Moses did. It is what we are called to do as disciples, is to set the captives free. And, it wasn't easy for Moses. I mean, can you imagine? He's got to go
very
back.
Daunting task. It was huge.
He was slow of speech. He had a stutter. How is he supposed to come back after he has left there to go and rescue people? And the word of God will set you free. Right. And I think that's what he's calling us as disciples. And then in Matthew
28:19, this is what Jesus tells us to do as he's resurrecting, as he's going up. He's like, therefore go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teach them to obey everything I have commanded. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age.
Yeah. So God's never going to leave you. Be bold. Do what God's calling you to do.
Go.
Go. Do you know what go in the Greek means?
No.
Go.
Go.
No, I don't know what Greek means. But I did have that revelation the other day as I was reading the scriptures. Go means go.
Go.
Why do we wait? Mm-hmm. I know.
It's not easy.
No.
I think that sometimes we get so overwhelmed by that first step, the fact that, you are going to go. I remember when I started thinking about doing Faith Fridays, from the moment that I thought about starting this series, or even this channel, guys, from the moment I started thinking about doing it till I actually implemented my first video, I believe there was a 1.5-year time span. I was so afraid. I was afraid of the technology that was involved. I
do it?
I was afraid of putting myself out there. This isn't my calling. Like I was sharing with Sheri earlier, I've never been in front of a camera or a drama kind of person. That's her and her son and my daughter. that comes easily to them. She's a public speaker. She has had her own ministry for a while now. And so I kept having it in my heart, you need to start doing this. You need to do this. And it was scary.
The first step is a Lulu.
Talking about just doing this. I can't imagine what Moses went through when he was sitting there looking at a bush on fire and it's telling him he's got to go.
Yeah.
Or even when...
And God's saying, rescue my people from slavery. Millions. It wasn't just a handful of
I think it's almost comparable to what Christine Cain's doing right now. Go and rescue. I mean, she's with...
A21.
Ministries, right?
Yes.
I mean, that couldn't have been an easy thing to get started. I admire her greatly because, how do you start?
Yeah.
Where do you begin something that big?
And I think that's the thing with the scriptures. If you go back and look in Isaiah and this last one in Matthew, God's saying, I'm with you. Sometimes I think we like to just sit and overthink it too much, where God's just saying, just go.
Go.
Wherever you put your foot, I'm going to be with you.
Amen.
So, yeah.
I think, too, with the Hosea story, how I think, to make a nice little...
wrap it up
bow on it. I think as he's sitting there telling Hosea to go love on Gomer, if he was to have done it in his natural, it would not have been something that was healing.
No.
But the moment he turned around in obedience to Christ, to God in that point in Scripture,
yes. Then
and
you've got God's love.
Right, and he did was what he was being called to do.
Right.
I believe that supernatural love flowed through him, and that he could see his wife in a different way. Yeah. And I think that's what happens to us. The minute we come into agreement with what God's word is telling us to go do,
and we obey it,
we're no longer operating in our own natural. We're going to be operating in
the supernatural.
Yeah. And it makes that possible. We were just talking about the other is impossible. This is possible.
Right.
Not because I can do it. Not because Sheri can do it. Not because you can do it on your own.
But with God, all things are possible.
Because he said, as he was ascending, that he would be with us always.
Forever. Yeah.
So if he's with us always, he's with us. He's helping us through these things.
So go show love again.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that a good word?
That's a good word.
All right. You guys have a great weekend.
Be blessed.
Bye.
Bye.